What's going on, guys? This is Joe with Hendo Daily, and today I want to talk to you all about multi-tools. More specifically, these 5 seemingly great multi-tools that I never touch or use. So we'll get into it with each one, where I got them, why I got them, and then we'll go on from there. So first up is the Leatherman Wingman. To be honest, I have no idea where I even got this from, how long I've had it. It's just always been in my tackle box. So it's been my fishing knife, just always sitting in there in case I needed it, but rarely used it unless I'm pulling a hook deep out of a fish's mouth. But that's really about it. Like I said, don't know where I got this, how long I've had it. I just know for at least the last 8 years it's been sitting in my tackle box. So that's that one. Next is the Gerber. Not even sure the model or name of it. It's got the spring assisted pliers, which I do like. I do like that best in a multi-tool. But this one was issued to me at my last job, working on the flight line. We needed, they issued us multi-tools to have for whatever, just in case. That's probably gotten the second most use out of all these, with the Wingman being the first. So moving on to the Leatherman Signal. This was another one that was issued to me in my last shop. Not sure why the Signal, which is, a great camping knife and survival multi-tool, right? Apparently working on the flight line, you needed a fancy multi-tool. So most of these, that's where they came from. We got issued new multi-tools like once a year, but they ended up sitting in my drawer, my EDC storage, not getting used too much. I think the most I did with this was see how many sparks I could make with the ferro rod on there, and that's really about it. I did, when we had a camper, kept this in our camper, just as part of my tools and my toolbox that I left in there year round. But other than that, it really didn't get much use. Fourth one on the table, this is the Gerber MP600 with the OTF pliers. This one I personally bought because at a time when I was carrying a multi-tool every day, even though I really wasn't using them, I thought, man, this is pretty cool, given a, OTF type of plier. Just looks tactical, and even bought it at the base exchange on base where I worked. And then never used it. I carried it every day in the little sheath that it came with, but I haven't really used it. For a long time, it did sit in my car. I left it as the multi-tool, sitting around in my car for emergencies or whatever I might need, because I had multi-tools laying around everywhere. So yeah, Gerber MP600, it's great, it looks cool, but the more I carried it, the more I realized it was not that practical for me. Not saying it's not for anybody else, but for me specifically, just never really used it like I thought I would. And I hate to say that, hate to waste money or anything like that, but yeah, it's been sitting in the EDC box with the rest of my multi-tools for quite a while now. And then this last one all the way here to the right is the Leatherman Wave Plus. Now this is probably my favorite out of all the multi-tools that I own, with the exception that it's not spring-loaded pliers like the Gerber and the Leatherman Wingman. This is probably the nicest one out of all of them. Most tools, I even went on Amazon and found these cool little clips that I put on there myself, and then it's also got a little lanyard hole clip as well that goes on there. But I mean, again, a great knife, great multi-tool, a lot of options, a lot of tools. I mean, anything you need to use in a pinch, it's on there. I would say the screwdriver probably has gotten the most use out of this tool, because after I got this one, which again, this one was issued after I got this one I probably carried the most, even though I didn't use it as much as like these other two over here. But that's it. So those are the 5 multi-tools that I have that are unfortunately just sitting in my EDC storage, not getting any use. Now, what I want to go over next is why I'm not using them. I feel like all the videos I've watched on EDC and building up your carry and all the gear you should use, it always came down to, use what you carry. And in watching all those videos and doing research and just getting into different things, trying new carries is how I came across carrying a lot of these. But it wasn't really practical for what I was carrying every day and what I was doing. Especially now, the last few years, I've been working in an office job, so it's not like I'm messing around with too much gear that I'm going to need a pair of pliers handy, or I'm going to need a screwdriver or a file, or whatever the case is. It's really just not practical for what I do anymore, which kind of bums me out, but at the same time, they're also super bulky, and my carry has developed and become more minimalist, I think, over the last year or two, and carrying a big bulky multi-tool just for the sake of having a multi-tool really didn't make much sense. Now I do have one more multi-tool that I purchased recently, I would say within the last 6 to 7 months, and I told myself it was going to be the last one I would buy, because I wasn't going to waste any more money on multi-tools when I don't even use these. And this last one that I bought, I had heard all the hype about it. A lot of the hype came from Taylor Martin's page, Best Damn EDC, talked about how he carries one every day for the longest time, this and that was the SOG Power Pint. I will say it is super smooth action on how it opens up. Again, I would love if it had spring-loaded pliers. It doesn't, but it is what it is. And the only reason I bought this, and I do carry this in my backpack every day, I don't carry it on my person, but in my backpack for work, is because it is smaller, kind of more on that minimalist side, and it has, it's got pretty much all the other tools that a lot of these have, just a little more compact, and I can just throw it in the backpack, forget about it. But if I do need a pair of pliers for whatever reason, they're in there. And in addition to that, I picked these up, just a small pair of crescent pliers. I don't know, I think I might have gotten these from like Menards or Home Depot or something. Didn't want to spend the money on a Knipex set of pliers, because again, I don't need pliers that often. I don't need to carry those in my EDC, and I don't need to spend the extra money on them. So that one has stayed in my backpack for work. I've used it occasionally, not too much, but that is the one I will keep in there just in case. So overall, to kind of get where I'm going with all this is use what you carry and carry what you use, right? We probably have all heard that a ton in the EDC world. And so what I'm saying to everyone today is, don't carry a multi-tool just for the sake of carrying a multi-tool. Now, if you're working on a job site or somewhere where you're constantly using pair of pliers, or grabbing a pocket knife or a file or whatever the case is, and you actually use this on a daily basis, then yeah, some people I've ran into or I've seen, that's all they carry is a multi-tool because it has everything that they need on a daily basis, so that makes sense for them. For me, I am absolutely done buying multi-tools. If I get any more issued to me through work, cool. But most likely they'll end up in my storage box, or I'll give one to my brother. Like, I think the Leatherman Signal, I got 2 of when we got issued those, and gave one to my brother just because I had the extra and there was no reason for me to carry 2. So that's it. That's kind of my thoughts on multi-tools. And who knows, it could change in the future. A lot of my EDC tastes have changed over the years. Like I said, I kind of gone more towards a minimalist style carry. But multi-tools don't seem to fit what I need and do in my everyday job and life. So unfortunately, these all right now are just going to be sitting in my EDC storage. Not planning on really selling them off or getting rid of them, because some of them do have stories. Like the Gerber has been on many work trips with me, many flight line stories, and just a lot of crazy stuff. This has fallen fallen off the ramp of a C5 cargo plane. It's fallen off the ramp of a C17 cargo plane. And I have also dropped it from a KC-135 refueler plane, and it has held up. So I will give it that. This Gerber, whichever model or name it is tough for sure. Springs on the pliers never broke. It still stayed intact, and it's been dropped from 3 different cargo planes in my 8 or 9 years that I've had it. So I will give props to Gerber for this one. It is a tough multi-tool. It did help out when I was carrying it, but now that I'm working off of a flight line and working in an office, really just not a whole lot of need or use for it. So I want to hear what you all think on multi-tools. Do you use them? Do you carry them a lot? Have you kind of gone away from it? Have you been more attracted to them? Let me know what you think. And thanks for checking out the video. I will talk to you all in the next one.